Hi, welcome back to GoGo Chateau. Today's episode is filled with firsts. My first Chateau stay, my first thrift store experience, my first French fast food, and the first attempt at getting gas. Let's go. Come on. Episode 3. Episode 3. My God. Let's go. So I'm about to head out of tour. This was the road that I walked with my suitcases. I walked and walked, dragging them on cobbled streets. Because I was using Tour as a jumping off point, I didn't spend a lot of time there. It's a college town. There are 5 universities. It's chock full of young, excited, partying 20-somethings. Very cool, very hip, but not really a place a woman in her 50s wants to sort of hang out by herself necessarily. You know what I'm saying? Go out to a club by myself and tour. Yeah, no, not happening. I did wander around and popped into cathedral, Saint Gatien Cathedral. That's what I'm gonna say. It has this incredible, stunning facade, which is the first thing you notice. Just starts telescoping you in. You know, the stained glass in there is spectacular, mostly from the 13th century, and it's reminiscent of the Saint-Chapelle Cathedral in Paris that I did go to, but I haven't shown you any footage of, so maybe it's a good time to do that now. Roll that Saint-Chapelle footage. Beautiful. Such a jewel box. Yeah, okay. So now that I've sort of figured out the driving thing, my next move is to find a chateau to actually stay in so that I can kind of get my bearings. What does it feel like to actually sleep in a place like that? So we're looking for a Chateau hotel. I'm not sure how I Googled my way to Chateau de Rochecotte. It is 35 minutes from Tours, also about the same distance from Saumur, which is another town that was on my list already by this point, and near Chinon as well. All villages and towns that I wanted to see. Like anything, when you're booking something online, you just have to read all the fine print. Often they will lure you in with a really good price for a room, only to find out that it's in an annex building or something. It's not in the chateau itself. So I actually want to stay in the chateau proper. I want to go up and down the stairs and have the grand salon and big rooms to hang out in. And a nice little sort of office for the next couple of days as I search for chateau online. I gave him a call, parlez-vous anglais? My first sentence that I say to everybody, to just make sure that my room at that rate was going to be in the main building. It wasn't cheap, so I wanted to make sure that I was getting my money's worth.
The basis of your life is freedom, sort of liquid, moving, constant love.
A solo road trip is a really great opportunity to just start filling your conscious and subconscious mind with the programming that you want.
And then as you hold someone as your object of attention, tuned in, tapped in, turned on like that, everyone who is in your gaze, whether it is a physical gaze as you are looking around an environment or a seeing that which you cannot see with your eyes gaze, everyone who is your object of attention benefits.
I listen to a ton of Abraham Hicks, which is pretty woo-woo, but hey, I'm from California, so it's in our DNA. We're woo-woo people. I figure if I can get one little tweak or concept or nuance to how I'm thinking about something that changes my outlook, it's worth it. It's a constant process. And belief that magic can happen and that dreams can come true, and we just set about making it so. I mean, what else is there? Nope. Again. God, that was hilarious.
Je n'aime que toi, mon petit et quand je vais au cinéma sans toi, je suis comme un Scooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Doo dans une boîte de chocolat.
Chateau de Rochecote's most illustrious resident was Dorothea, the Duchess of Dino. What's interesting about her is that she was married to the Duke of Dino, who was the nephew of the Prince of Talleyrand. And apparently, the Prince of Talleyrand arranged for her to marry his nephew, only later to become her lover and the father of her third child. And it seems as if they spent the last part of his life together, and she built a chapel at Chateau de Rochecote in his memory. There's so much intrigue when you start to read the lineage of the occupants. Apparently, the Duchess of Dino had like many illegitimate children. Now, granted, women didn't have, even in France, obviously, power and rights themselves, but there was a whole lot of questionable paternity. Chateau de Rochecote is a lovely property, has a beautiful sweeping view of the Loire Valley, beautiful French gardens, 25 hectares of land, and high-end restaurant. I thought, you know, this would be beautiful. Not the warmest. Look at. One of the things that excites me the most about living in France are the bricants and the flea markets and the charity shops. The amount of antiques that are available at affordable prices in France is mind-numbing. I mean, just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful things. I mean, you can pick up such screaming deals in these small towns and villages. The bargains and the treasure hunting that I'm gonna be able to do there. I cannot wait to treasure hunt France. It's the thing I'm most excited about. Very loud Chateau cat. I'm allergic, I'm sorry.
The vortex equals what you have evolved to in terms of all things that you desire so far. So your work only has to be to follow through with the action or with the words or even with additional vibrational offering in order to allow it to come about.
Okay, so everyone knows I'm obsessed with vintage and thrift stores, and my use is like Goodwill in the US, which I'm super stoked about. It looks like a small one, but it's okay. Let's check it out. Love a good thrift store. Okay, so I went to the donation part versus this store. I parked in the wrong place, of course. Reception de dons. Didn't figure that one out. All right. Take two. See what you got. What you got. You're gonna love this. Okay, that was a bust. There wasn't anything in there worth shooting. So hopefully the next one will be better, because that was a bummer.
Hear this, you're gonna really like this.
Ba-do-dum. Ba-do-ba. voir un peu. Ça alors. Non mais dites donc. Non mais dites donc.
So I parked in downtown Newark trying to figure out where to eat. I had to pee so bad that the thought of trying to navigate that in English was just like, hell no. So I'm like, maybe there's a McDonald's. And I'm totally in the French McDonald's for the first time in my life, which is kind of awesome. Very modern. They have that full screen situation. They probably have that in the US, but I just don't go to McDonald's. So here I am waiting for my order. Hopefully it's right because I don't like sauce and pickles and onions and shit like that. Oh my God. I'm starting to feel the fatigue of this trip, and it's only week 2. Oh. Okay, here I am. At least McDonald's like kind of chic and white, and my bag is like a shopping bag. Doesn't even have any branding on it. I'm kind of impressed with that. Yeah, that McDonald's thing has become part of my strategy. When I have to pee, now I look for a McDonald's. And Super U, they have public bathrooms too. It's funny how things like, where am I gonna go to the bathroom, becomes like super pivotal, silly. So I used Rochecote as my office for a couple of days. It's so funny because like I took my computer down and I got my coffee and stuff, but it was so quiet there. I was so uncomfortable, but I kept just saying, stick it out. So I identified a chateau near Le Mans that I wanted to try to get in to see. It was in my price point, and I had to figure out where is Le Mans in relationship to where I am. Went about looking for a chateau stay that was nearby that property so that when and if the agent got back to me, I'd know where I was gonna be staying and how far it was. So on Airbnb, I stumbled on Chateau de Maurier, and I mean, literally my heart started racing because it's exactly the kind of chateau that I eventually want. So I wanted to put myself in it, take a bunch of pictures there for my vision board, find myself floating around in the chateau. It's so funny. I am so nervous the whole time, but I'm still doing it. I'm gonna fake it till I make it. Before I checked out of Chateau de Rochecote and was on my way to Chateau de Maurier, I realized that the chateau in Le Mans really wasn't for me. I went down a search rabbit hole and found that it was close to a freeway, it was gonna be loud, and it wasn't my jam. I just checked out of Chateau de Rochecote. I don't know, my pronunciation's so bad. And I can't say I loved it. It was very snobby. The receptionists were super rude. They had that very French kind of every time you asked them a question, it had like that raised eyebrows. But the wait staff is always nice in any place, so that sort of balanced it out a little bit. However, I was eager to get out and it was expensive. So now I'm gonna go to Chinon, and then Angers. Angers. Going to Chinon and Angers. Chinon and Angers. I don't know, I'm not saying that's right.
And this is the big question. Was your feeling of security in response to the conditions that you were living, or were the conditions that you were living in response to the security that you were feeling?
Okay, I am gonna get gas, hopefully. No, I'm not. That is closed. Okie dokie. So, no gas here. I thought I was gonna get lucky. Fields of dead sunflowers. La Lude. Okay. I think it's open. That's exciting. All right, let's find diesel. All right, I don't know if any of these are diesel, but I see that there's a truck there, so I'm gonna guess that maybe that's the diesel pump. So I'm gonna wait till she's done to a chick driver, which is awesome. And then go do that. Okay, so I did some Google research, found out that the designation for diesel at the pump here in France is B7. So, okay, that just says 7, not B, but that's the pump number. But I'm sure that has to be diesel because that truck just got it, right? I don't think that was diesel. It just said gasoline. Ay, ay, ay. Me. Okay, here I go. Gotta find another place. Hallelujah. I found diesel. I think that other one might have been correct. It says gasoline too. Shit. Okay, but this one says B7. So then I know those are diesel. Okay, awesome. Now here we gotta figure this out. I did it. Okay, 28.27 in euros. That's a lot, but I've been driving for a week.
Total thanks for your purchase.
Thank God it's in English. Give you the option. Lord have mercy. Ooh, okay, my first gas pumping experience in France is over. It's amazing how much stress little things like this can cause. Like you do this for most of your life, but somehow doing it in another country, in another language. Well, it wasn't another language because they had an English option. It's amazing how just doing something new can just spike the old fear factor. Okay. Whew. All right, so I'm off to another chateau.